Okay, so the paint had some time to cure, and man, it looks really nice. I love the way the paint kind of coats, because it's got the primer mixed in with the paint. So we have the halves of the saucer section. It's all set, and when it comes to the light leak, you can see how good that looks. I've got the light all the way up against the plastic. Let me see if I can get this into the... There it is. So there's going to be no light leak. So I had them drying on the rolls of tape. So I think we can do, let's go ahead now, we're going to check out the instructions, because I want to see the parts that we're going to need. You can see all the clear parts that we're going to have to put in for the windows going around, and then you can see the bridge area, and you can see the optional piece. So initially I was thinking about spritzing the clear pieces with the translucent red. However, then it dawned on me that we have the lighting kit. So these are the decals. We're not going to need these for a while, so let's put that aside. Alright, so when it comes to the lighting kit, so let's go right to the primary hull section. So this is showing the bulbs and the bulb placement you can see on the top section and then on the bottom section. So before we get to doing this, we're going to have to put the windows and all the clear parts in place. Now we are going to have to paint the top of the bridge, the bottom of the sensor dome, and probably the impulse engines. Let me just check to see if we have that. Incidentally, those would be, so we got those over there, and offhand I'm not seeing the parts that are going to go on the top right now, but anyway, let's check to see if we've got, because I think we might have the parts in the lighting kit. Incidentally, if you're interested in what came in a lighting kit, I did a complete unboxing on it. So I'm going to take out the red sections. So you can see the Basari collectors. Again, that'll be later. So we've got the impulse engines. Okay, so we have parts 3 and 4. That's going to go on the back of the saucer section. And those are going to go right there. Now, they're a little darker on screen. I think we're going to make ours dark. We're probably going to go with black. Let me put this aside. We'll put this aside too, because there's a couple things we need to paint. So we need to paint the bridge, the sensor dome, and these. Now the reason I didn't put them on when we painted them, because they're not the same color of the ship. They're actually darker. So I like black. We're gonna make ours black. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna use the paint pen. All right, so we're gonna take these parts off of the tree. We need parts 3 and 4. So let me confirm parts 3 and 4. So they're going to go into a little area, raised area. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to color these before we take them off of the parts tray. And I've used the oil-based Sharpie in the past. So I'm going to pass it over the grill lines. And what this is going to do is it's going to actually make an effect, and I'll show you in a sec. So hopefully you guys can see how that looks. So we're going to give that a second to dry, and then I'm going to go over it again. So we're going to do the other side now, or the other one. There. So the base color is gray, and you can kind of see the their grills. And now we'll focus on the bridge and the sensor dome. So why don't we go ahead and we'll take this part off. This is the bridge section. And over here we have the sensor dome. This one is on a little more solid, so. And then I'll just twist the other two. There we go, it comes right off. Okay. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. There we are. So when you push down, the tip gets saturated with the paint, and then you can disperse it a lot easier. See, the importance of keeping the passes nice and even, because it's really easy to streak. So now we're going to wait for this to dry, and we'll do another pass over it. Again, going as light as possible because we don't want to block it out. All right, now we're going to do the bridge section. And again, once the paint starts to set a little bit, you're going to get streaking. So what I'm going to do is we're going to let this dry now. I think we can start to think about putting everything in place. So these are so we have decals that are going to go into the bridge area. So we're going to need decals 14, 15, 16, and 17. And we have 14, 15, 16, and 17 right there. So section 15, you can see right over here, it has the ridges, so that's where that's going to go. We've got section 14, and that's actually going to go on the base of where the dome is. $17 is going to go right over here up against the side. And what is the other one? 16 is going to go up against the side on the other one, the other wall. So this section over here is going to be clear. So this part over here is going to be covered. This wall, as well as this the bottom section beneath the dome. All right. So we're going to let these continue to dry. We're going to put the decals on when we're ready to put the bridge dome into the saucer section. So let's put those aside a minute. Now we can start thinking about the pieces we're going to need. I think we can start with 3 and 4 now. That looks good. Okay, now we're going to put those into place onto the top path. And they're going to go right in over here. So I'm going to use some of the thin Tamiya. Put the sensor on the side for a moment. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of the Tamiya thin into the areas. They fit into place really well. Here we are. So parts 134, we're going to need 4 of them. All right, maybe it's possible to kind of twist them off the tree. Yeah. So now we're going to take this part number. What I want to do is I want to clean them off, just because I don't want where the tree was connected, I don't want it to interfere in any way on the fitting of the part. There's a slight curvature. All right. Instead of taking them all off the tree at once and figuring out what goes where, I think we're going to do it this way. So we're going to start putting on the 134s, and that's going to be on the aft section. So what I want to do is, I like having this protected. I don't want to keep the finished side. I don't want anything to happen to it, so we're going to put it back on the roll of tape. And let's see, we're going to start. So the outer parts, and this would be the port side, 134 with the windows. So what I want to fit it into place before we glue. You can see there are little tabs that are going to hold it in place, and there are little tabs on the piece, little holes where the tabs are going to fit through. So it's always good to dry fit it before applying glue. I just want to see how they're going to fit. So they go into place relatively well. Let me see. Let me show you guys how it's going to pick up the light and how we fix the light leak. See that? See how cool that looks? All right. Now I'm going to go ahead, because we have... Boy, these go in there pretty well. You know what? I don't want to pry it out. Actually, you know what? Because if I'm using the thin glue, so I'm going to put them in place. That way there, we fit them in place, and then I apply the glue. There'll be no smudging, just in case. You know, sometimes when you're handling it, and I don't want my fingertips getting glue on it, so that's going to be pretty good. So we got these on right now. Let me show you guys. That looks really cool. Okay, so now, actually, let's do the other side. So the other section, again, it's going to be all the way at the end, in front of the navigation beacon. So I'm going to put these on as well. Just like that. And again, look how cool that looks. All right, now, because I'm using the thin glue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit along the edge. Yeah. Move on now. Let's do the next section. So now I'm going to go to section 119. All right, now this is going to go right over here. Same principle. They fit in place in a little depression, and the tabs go through the little holes on either side. So what I want to do is we're going to put a little bit of the thin glue, the extra thin actually, and we're going to run a bead. Just like that. All right, so looks like we have all of the windows on the primary hull, top of the saucer section. We did 4 and 5. We did 134s, 119, 135, 114, 135, and 116. So that's all done. So I think we can put this section aside to let the glue dry. And now what we can do is we'll do the same thing now for the bottom of the saucer section. So we're going to put all the windows and clear parts in. So we've got parts 122, and those look like they're actually the impulse engines. So let's just double check. So you can see 122. And now we'll use the clear red parts from the lighting kit. So let's get these off of the tree and we'll clean them up. The parts on the side are going to help it from falling through, so don't remove those tabs. So they fit into the slots like that. All right, let's do the other side. Yeah, go like that. So let's take a look. It looks pretty cool. So I want to do the same thing now that they're in position. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to use a little bit of the glue, and we're going to, again, the thin glue, I want to put a drop on the tabs on the outer parts, and what that's going to do is it's going to go down into the channel, and it's going to help to secure it. All right, so those are in place, and now we'll do, now let's see, 117. We got those windows, so let's grab 117. There. Okay, now we have everything in. So this piece is optional. So that's going to go on the saucer section on the bridge area, or B and B deck, or A deck. And I don't know if we're going to put that on or not. Yeah. All right, why don't we check, because now when it comes to the bottom half of the saucer section, the last thing we need to do is put in the Sensidome. So the paint is nice and dry. So what I want to do now is I want to line it up. I'm just going to go this way. And that goes into place pretty nicely. I'm going to press it down. I want to pick it up just because I want to make sure that we got enough of the paint. All right, that looks good. All right. And now let's glue this down. What I like about the extra thin glue is that you can put it along the seams and it goes in. It actually is drawn into the areas that need to be glued. That way there you don't have to worry about making a mess while handling it. So we have everything in the bottom when it comes to the parts for the kit itself. So that's all set. Now we're ready to put on the lighting kit lights. We're going to hold off on that for a moment because we have to address the bridge. That's the only thing we need to glue into position, but we need to do the decals. So again, we're going to have decals now going on the ridged section. We're going to have decals going up against either wall. And we're going to have a decal that's going to go right at the base of the dome. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut them out. Here we are. So these are the sections that we need. And it does appear that each one will slide off on its own accord, so I don't have to cut every single one out. Okay, so I like to use the microsol and the microset. And I'm going to use one of the cases that I have with the emery board. I like to put the decals up here just because it won't dry out, it won't absorb the setting solution, and it makes a nice surface to work on. So what I'm going to do is, let's put the instructions aside a moment. I like to use a Q-tip, and I know that the names are confusing because the micro set, you would think this is the finishing solution, you'd use this one second, but this doesn't. You use this first. This is will make the decal moist and slide around on the board easy, and then to apply it, and then the microsol goes on to set it. So I'm going to use a Q-tip. We're going to use a little bit of the microset. And what I want to do is I want to wet down the decals. All right, let's do the sides of the wall first. So the point, all right, I want to put a little tiny bit of the solution in the area that I want to get this on. So I'm going to take the decal, I'm going to put it right up against the side of the wall. And because it's clear, it's really tough to see. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. Yeah, I know it's really hard to see that. All right, now we're going to do the decal that's going to go with the base of the dome. I don't know if you can see that. And we got one more piece to put on, and that's going to go right in the ridged area underneath the section we just put in. So I'm going to go ahead and yeah. So we got the walls in. We got the bridge section. Let me see if you can. I'm going to try to zoom in on it, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see the bridge. I want to get the micro set onto the decals, but I don't want to disturb them. So I'm just going to kind of put the droplet on. And once the droplet is on, I want to kind of smear the droplet around to get it to saturate into the decal. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Ever so gently, just enough. I'm not even really making contact with the decal. I just want to draw the extra fluid off. So you see this part right here? This is going to go into the curved section. So what I want to do is I want to get this in ever so gently because I don't want to disturb the decals. There. Now we can glue this section into position. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to wait now. What we're going to do is we're going to let everything dry. Let it dry overnight, the glue get nice and cured. And then what we'll do is we're going to put in a lighting kit. Because you can see the little U-shaped landmarks that are going to hold the lights. Then you can see them a little more prominently on the bottom half of the saucer section. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying the build. And until we move on, we're going to bring the halves together and we're going to put the lighting kit in. Till the next video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.